Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode, for the first time in a while, we're doing another Wii homebrew related video, and this time around, we're going to be trying to put NetBSD on this thing. Now, NetBSD is an operating system based on the original BSD and is thus not a Linux distro. However, it is a Unix-like operating system. And what's crazy about this is not some long-lost version from years ago. This is the latest release. They've got a version specifically for the Wii available for download on the front page of the website, which is actually just added earlier this year. And you can even get the latest daily build compiled for the Wii as well. And installing NetBSD on the Wii, I think, is just as easy as homebrewing the console. It's certainly much easier than putting that old Linux distro that we installed on this thing back in 2023. So it's pretty awesome, and let's just go ahead and get started with it. Alright, so one thing that I should mention right up front here is that NetBSD does not run particularly well on the Nintendo Wii, at least the graphical user interface that you can boot into once you have the operating system installed. Getting, programs to work under that isn't really a pleasant experience, shall we say, but the command line interface, you can use that just fine. So, if you want to maybe use this to set up a server or something like that for whatever reason, I suppose that you could do that. But this right here is the post that I was made aware of over on netbsd.org, where somebody back in 2010 said, "What are the chances of seeing a Nintendo Wii IBM Broadway PowerPC 750CL port? There must be somebody who's experienced enough, owns such a machine, and is motivated to do the port." Well, somebody responded on Saturday, the 27th of January 2024, and said JMCNEILL just finally ticked off the third checkbox in that list. Motivation. He has a few pictures and a video on his Twitter account, and if we go over here, unfortunately these posts are limited, so we can't see the entire thread here, but a couple of these posts do kind of talk about that. So yeah, this is the person who actually took the time to get this running on the Wii, and there's a whole little guide here that shows you how to get installed, and you can see, just from how small it is incredibly easy to do. You just have to download the image, write it to an SD card, put it into the Wii, and launch it from the homebrew channel. That's all there is to it. Now, this link here is dead because this was pointing to one of the daily builds, so you can see, like, when you go here, it just has all this nonsense. Though it's worth noting, you can go to the NetBSD homepage, like I mentioned earlier, and download the Wii install media right from here. And this is for NetBSD 10.0, the current, like, stable release. But I actually did all my testing with one of the daily builds, so we're gonna get the latest one of those, which, as of me filming this video, would be the one from December 16th. So we can go to this link here and just basically back up to NetBSD Daily, and we want to go into Head, and we're going to select the last option here, 2024 12/16, and we go in here, we scroll down to EVB PPC binary GZIMG, and we download the Wii.img.gz file. And I'm just going to open that up in 7-zip here. We'll just extract this to my downloads folder. That's fine. And then I'm going to bring up Win32 Disk Imager since I'm on Windows here, and we're going to select that file, choose the SD card that I've got put in here. And I would recommend using a larger one, especially if you want to install some additional packages, because the way this works is this image file is about 1.5 gigabytes in size. So it's going to create about a 1.5 gigabyte partition on the SD card. But then when you put it into the Wii and launch NetBSD from the homebrew channel, on first boot, the operating system is going to expand that partition to take up the rest of the SD card. So in my testing previously, I was originally using a 2 gigabyte card. So when I try to install some packages, I ran out of space very, very quickly. So we're just going to click on Write here. This will obviously wipe the entire card, so don't have any data on here. Make sure you back everything else up. And once this finishes, all we got to do is pop it into the Wii and go from there. Right after a quick word from today's sponsor, Boot.dev, who provides a fantastic way to learn how to program. They have a focus on back-end web development, and their curriculum will teach you the ins and outs of both Python and Go, while also keeping you engaged through their fun and unique learning platform that's designed to feel like a playable RPG. So while you're clacking away on your keyboard, you'll be earning XP, gaining achievements, advancing through levels, and completing quests to compete for a top spot on the global leaderboard. The whole site is designed to get you used to writing a ton of code, because boot.dev believes this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. They want you to feel like you've actually learned something new, so the lessons go really in-depth on each topic. And since the whole thing is self-paced, you can take as much time as you need on each course. And if you ever happen to get stuck, they have viewable solutions available, an active Discord community where you can ask for help, and their new spellbook feature, which provides a cheat sheet of links and notes that you unlock as you advance through the lessons. On top of all that, boot.dev doesn't want you to feel like you aren't getting your money's worth. So that's why they offer a 30-day, no questions asked refund policy, as well as a free demo of every course before subscribing to a membership, which you can do by clicking the link below. And if you use code MichaelMJD at checkout, you'll get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. So be sure to check them out, and huge thanks again to boot.dev for making this video possible. Alrighty, so as per usual, we're gonna launch the homebrew channel here. And I don't have the SD card in yet, so we're gonna do that right now. There it is. So we're gonna go up to NetBSD and press load. And right here is where it's going to resize the partition, which can take a little while. And then once it finishes, it just restarts the Wii. So then we got to go back in here and launch NetBSD again. So we'll do that. And here we are. So the default login is just root with no password, so it doesn't even prompt you for one. So I'm going to go ahead and just run passwd and set a password for my account. And we have to do this twice, actually, because it doesn't like the first password I enter, because it's just all lowercase, really simple. But yeah, I mean, you're here at a command line. You can run various commands, you know, do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to jump in to the graphical user interface, so we'll run start X. We will come back to the command line, though, to do a couple of other things. But yeah, so this is the built-in GUI. And it opens up a terminal window here. We can move that out of the way. We've got X clock running up here. We've got a little desktop switcher. We got 5 desktops down here that we can choose from. And if you click on the desktop, this is where you can get access to your applications menu. And you see we have all these categories in here, but there's nothing in any of these folders. So as you add applications, they will, you know, go into these folders depending on what you download. But under desktop utilities, you've got a couple of things. We can launch a calculator here. So here's that. We can maybe move that over here. There's also the lovely XEyes program, which is super cool. So we can have that running down here, and you know, it follows my mouse cursor around. We can also go and let's open up, we got OpenGL Gears as well. This one I've not actually tried yet. Let's see if this opens up. And that, yeah, that just kind of froze the whole system. Oh, well, look at that. It actually opened up, so it did recover there for us. So, yeah, there's the GL Gears program. We can close out of some of this stuff just so we're not, you know, just having all these applications running at the same time. Let's see what else we've got. We got the spinning cube program. So, yeah, that actually opens up. It goes way off the screen. Should be able to do, yeah, there we go. So we can resize that down. You know, maybe have that run in there. And we got some compositor settings too. We can turn on shadows here, which, yeah, check that out. That actually shows up pretty nicely. So yeah, we got shadows on all the windows. Yeah, you know, you've got a couple things built in, but notably you don't have like a web browser or anything like that. Though you can download one, but it doesn't run particularly well on the system. Now, unfortunately, NetBSD cannot make use of the internal wireless adapter that the Wii has. So, to get this system online under NetBSD, you have to use either a compatible USB wireless adapter, you have to set up a Bluetooth personal area network, or use the official Wii Ethernet adapter that I've had for a while now because I've used this in multiple videos relating to Wii homebrewing stuff. So, I'm going to get this plugged in. And now if we ping google.com, you'll see we get a reply. We don't have to restart the console. You don't even have to go into the Wii's network settings on the system menu and, you know, change those around. I actually have it configured just to use Wi-Fi on the Wii menu. Let's go ahead and clear this here, and let me switch back to my computer for a second, because I want to talk a little bit about how you install packages on NetBSD. So the operating system has a tool called pkgsrc built in that can be used to install packages. However, there is a very useful utility called pkgin, Now this pretty much just makes the installation and upgrading of packages a whole lot easier. You can also use it to search a repository for a package to see what's available, though it doesn't come with NetBSD, so we have to install it. And I did find this tutorial video that goes through that process, so I'll have this linked down below and up in the cards. And one of the first things we have to do is set the location of the package repository that we're going to be downloading stuff from, and NetBSD has a bunch of those available on their website. So I'll have this one linked down below. These are all packages that work under the EVB PPC architecture, which is the version of NetBSD we've got running on the Wii. But if we do back up here, similar to what we had with the daily builds, you know, when we were on that screen downloading that earlier, you've got all these different architectures here, and if you go into like i386, you've got, you know, those same folders, and you can view all the packages available for that specific architecture, which we're just going to back out of here because, you know, we're interested in this folder here. Now, for whatever reason, pkgin is only available in this 10.0 2023 Q3 repository. So if we go in here and do a search for pkgin, there it is. If we go back here and go into the 2024 Q1 repository, and even just the regular 10.0 one, we don't actually have pkgin. We've got pkg info. You got 5 different instances of that, but for whatever reason, yeah, it's not available in these other repositories, so that's why we're going to be using that 2023 one. And to do that, you want to run pkg path and set it to this whole URL. So I'm going to do that and hit enter, and then we want to run export pkg underscore path. And now if we run pkg underscore add pkgin, it should add that package for us. Now it is going to warn us here, because we're using one of the daily builds, the version number is higher than, you know, what the package was technically made for, but it still works on here just fine. And there we go, it's done. So now I can run pkgin, and we get a list of commands here. So what I'm going to do is, in that tutorial video, the guy installs neofetch, so I'm going to run pkgin install neofetch, because that seems like a pretty good place to start. And you see it found a dependency that neofetch needs, so it's going to install 2 packages. We're going to say yes, and we're done. So if we run neofetch, if I can spell that right, that's not how you spell it. And there you go, you can see the version number. We've got 4 packages installed. We've got 88 megs of RAM, which, yeah, that's why you got to be really careful with, you know, like how much stuff you have running at one time, because you can load that memory up pretty quickly. So one thing I did off camera during my testing was I tried to get a web browser working on here, which, as I kind of alluded to earlier, is not the greatest experience. So if we run pkgin once again, let's do a search this time for Firefox. And it will come back with a few packages. The one that I tried to download was Arctic Fox, because it says it's a web browser for aging systems forked from Firefox. So yeah, we'll run pkgin install, and what's cool is you can just type in Arctic Fox. You don't have to put in the whole package name, and it'll, you know, figure out that you want to get Arctic Fox-43, whatever. So there it is. I see it's going to install 36 packages because you need a bunch of dependencies there. So we'll proceed with that. All right, we're done with that. So if we launch StartX once again, and we get in here, go to the applications menu here. Now under internet, we've got Arctic Fox web browser. Now, when I when I launched this before during my testing, it took over 6 minutes to open up. We're gonna see how long it takes this time. Alright, we are about 9 minutes into getting this program to load, and the system kind of froze up for a second. Alright, well, this is taking longer than it did beforehand. That's definitely rather funny. Alright, well, awesome news. We got the browser loaded up here, although you can see that we are definitely experiencing a little bit of slowdowns here. I can move the cursor around, but it does get to a point, like I'm still moving it around right now, and we got nothing going on. Let's see if it, yeah, there we go. Okay, just caught up there. So let's see if we can go to Google. I mean, we're already on like a search page here, but I just want to go to a website and see, you know, how long it takes that to load, or if we can even do that at all, because I've clicked up here in the address bar, and it's taking a little while to respond here. Let's give it a moment. Oh, I guess it wasn't entirely loaded yet. Yeah, look, we still had some icons down there on this start page that hadn't finished loading. And keep in mind, this is the browser meant for, you know, lower end systems, you know, or like low memory systems, like it said. So I'm sure that regular Firefox is going to be even worse. Oh, we got the insertion point. Okay, we're back to a cursor. Can I type in here yet? I feel like, yeah, no, not yet. I mean, I think it kind of froze up again. Yeah, oh, wait, no, it didn't. Even pressing keys, like, I've pressed tab to, you know, move around. That's not really doing anything. I can't navigate around in this at all. I mean, what if we try to go to, like, most visited here? Can we click on this? And we'll just let it sit here for a moment. Okay, I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes, and you can see that it actually moved the insertion point up here to the address bar. So I think it's slowly like catching up with all of the clicks and everything that I've done. But at this point, it's just going to take a ridiculously long amount of time to get there. So I'm just going to close out of this. I think I'm actually just going to have to do a force power off on the console, because trying to get over here, although, well, let's see. Let me see if I can go over to this little area of the desktop and click. Not there. I gotta go over to the right a little bit more, click here, and go down to quit. But that's what I was talking about when I said that the GUI was not really pleasant to use, because although all those built-in applications work just fine, if you're running a program like a web browser that uses a pretty good amount of memory, it's just going to slow down the entire system and make it pretty much unusable. That being said, I do want to try to install some other programs and see, you know, if we can get anything else third party to run on this thing. So I've got, we're going to run a pkgin search. I found in that repository there are a couple of Tetris packages. So let's do a search for Tetris and grab one of those. Okay, well, Tetris CLI is Tetris in a terminal. So why don't we grab that one? So pkgin install Tetris-CLI. Because with this being able to run without the graphical user interface, it will use much less memory. Oh, we have a warning. That's just about the version, I think. Yeah, has a greater version than available package, so yeah. But if we run Tetris, is it just Tetris? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Check that out. Alright, so I just wanted to come in here for a second and mention that this is actually a version of Tetris that comes with NetBSD. I first noticed this when I was editing, because in the graphical user interface under terminal utilities, there's an option for Tetris, and that's this. So we didn't even launch the version that I just downloaded, so that was pretty much a waste of time. But hey, at least Tetris runs on here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you can see it works totally fine here. No issues at all, so that's awesome. I also saw, I'm just going to do a little bit of this here. Let's maybe get one line, which I could have just, I could have gotten one there if I, you know, did that to the far right. But let's just wait for another straight piece here. So we'll go down. There we go. That was perfect timing, wasn't it? So there we go. Got a couple lines. So, all right, we'll hit Q to quit out of that, and it keeps our high score there. Okay, hit return to see high scores. So there you go, Tetris high scores, pretty awesome. I also saw a Pac-Man game as well in that list, so let's do a search for Pac-Man. But yeah, you see what I'm talking about, like pkgin makes this process so much easier because you don't have to like know the name of the package beforehand. You can just search for it and figure out, okay, there's this one not underscore Pac-Man, which is gravity controlled Pac-Man apparently, okay? So we'll just run a pkgin install not underscore Pac-Man. Now this, I wonder if this is like a command line application or if it's a graphical user interface, you know, required thing. We do have a lot more dependencies to install, so yeah, let's just let it do that. All right, so that's done. Let's run, I assume it's going to be not underscore Pac-Man. Error, cannot restore keyboard to translated mode, inappropriate IOCTL for device. Okay, let's try to maybe run it under a GUI. Okay, so not underscore Pac-Man. It's made by Love, which, you know, it must be good. I'm assuming this is the company name or the organization, maybe. Do I gotta click or do something? I mean, it's just rolling around here. Well, why don't we give it some time? I feel like I've been saying that a lot, but it's kind of the name of the game with this. No pun intended. Okay, so I just looked this up to get some further info, and apparently this is a Pac-Man style game with gravity in which the player controls the rotation of the game field. And if we go to the home page here, yeah, this is where you can download it, and it says it's a combination of Knot and Pac-Man. It puts the Pac and the Ghost in a Pac-World cage at mercy of gravity in the level shape, controlled solely by you. And you can download it for a few different platforms down here. They got the source code available as well. But it doesn't seem to be really working on here. I mean, like, I've been here for another like 10 minutes on this screen. It's just straight up not doing anything. I've been clicking, I've been pressing keys, I've been doing the arrow keys, WASD, like nothing. I also feel like we should be running at a much faster frame rate here, so I think even if the game were to load, we're not really going to get anywhere. So I can't do any sort of like keyboard combination here to quit out of this, so I think I'm just gonna have to force reset the console. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet, but the reason why the GUI performance is so terrible is because we don't have full 2D and 3D hardware acceleration working, and that's mentioned by somebody else in that Twitter thread that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, if that ever gets implemented, which honestly is pretty unlikely with how niche of a use case this probably is, but if somebody ever takes the time to figure that out, I imagine things on the GUI side will improve substantially. But hey, the package name isn't a lie. That surely wasn't Pac-Man, so can't fault them for that. So I figured we'd install one more package to kind of end off this video the right way. And you guys know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, this is kind of a tradition on this channel, though I'm sure we're not going to be able to actually get it to run, but we're going to run pkgen install GIMP. Yeah, let's see what we can do with this. Alright, so that's finally done. Let's boot back into the graphical user interface and see. This is not, I don't even know why I'm doing this. This is not going to work. There's no freaking way this application is going to work whatsoever. We'll go under Applications, under Graphics, and there it is, GNU Image Manipulation Platform. Alright, now's where we wait. Okay, wait, well, hang on a second. I was about to literally just get up and walk away for a minute, but yeah, it started to come up here. We got the splash screen, and we're just waiting for it to load. I mean, I imagine this is going to take a little bit, but that was way sooner than we actually got something to come up on the screen compared to the web browser. I'm starting to wonder, you know, maybe I should just try Firefox. In the meantime, I got to do some waiting for GIMP to start up. Well, we've certainly made progress. We're here, and look at this. I got the context menu to open up. So I wonder if we can make a new file, which it looks like that I'm trying to go up here to the file menu, and well, it's not getting us there. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting, honestly, I wasn't expecting the program to launch entirely. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have the same, this is just gonna be like a common theme with any of these applications, I feel. Oh, now we're up at that little top thing. Okay, well, here we go. File. That seemed like it was pretty responsive. I've hit the left arrow key to go over to new. Maybe try to move. Oh, look at that. Okay. New. Can we click on that? Okay. Well, at least we can move around the menu. That's a great sign. And it is coming up with that menu, so we can make a new image. Okay. Let's see if we can make like just a 20 by 20, like go really small here. And yeah, look at that. That's rather instantaneous. So, okay. And let's see if it'll actually go through with that. Oh, wait a second. Okay, all these options became available. Oh yeah, look at that. There it is. It's coming up. Slowly but surely. I'm trying to like move the window around. I think, is the window like maximized or something to where we can't drag the title bar around? Oh no, it's just like way off the screen. Yeah, if it were maximized, it would be like way up here. But yeah, there's our there's our tiny little image. So that actually worked much better than I thought. I mean, it took a while for the program to start, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the command line interface. We could just do this through the terminal, in the GUI, but I figured we just close out of it to, not have that running. And we'll run pkgen. I'm just gonna do a search for Firefox again. Yeah, Firefox 52 ESR. So pkgen install Firefox 52, and then we got to make sure to just 52.9 so we don't get that language pack. Oh, it's not available in the repository. Do I got to maybe type out the whole thing? 0nb63? Oh, no, that's exactly what I had to do. Okay, maybe because there was another, package with a similar name there. But yeah, okay, it's going to get all these dependencies. Sure, we'll proceed. We've got the Arctic Fox web browser and the browser web browser. Yeah, that sounds pretty great. So let's open up the browser web browser. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. I'm not joking, and it just opened up the browser window here. And yeah, at this point, I'm not even going to attempt to go in here and try to browse to a website because it's just, I can already tell it's going to be a very unusable experience if we can even get it to navigate to any page at all. Arctic Fox did not take this long to open, and I don't even think the program's done loading yet. You see, we're not even at the new tab page. It hasn't loaded all the way. And the system is just totally freezing up. I mean, I can barely move the mouse cursor around at this point. So yeah, this is definitely worse than Arctic Fox. But I mean, you guys saw how much we were able to do with this. We were able to install a few, command line programs. Those all ran totally fine. The built-in programs on the GUI side of things ran fine as well. We were able to get GIMP working and actually make an image, which was surprising to me. So I think it's just really cool that, NetBSD actually works on the Nintendo Wii and that this is the latest version of the operating system. That's pretty impressive. And yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.